It's time for the Stay Humble Derby. It's Arsenal against Manchester City. Massive game, as it's always been the last couple of seasons. The last 2 seasons, it's been directly for the Premier League title. We've been competing against them. This time, not so much so, but for us to stay in the title race, we have to beat them. And last time, what a game it was against Man City last time. So much happened in that game. Obviously, we went into that game without Odegaard. We had just lost Odegaard the previous international break. That day, Calafiori scored his first ever Arsenal goal, and what a goal it was from outside the box. Man City started that game on fire, Haaland scoring. I'm sure that was his 100th goal for Man City on that day. He opened the scoring and things were looking like very dark for us on that day, but we came back and we equalized. Obviously, Rodri picked up that serious knee injury on that same day, and he's never played since then. There was obviously the stay humble thing with Haaland and Arteta, and then the Trossard red card that we've never ever seen anyone getting that kind of red card ever again. Having to play that game the second half with 10 men and the entire game, and we were so close to winning it until they scored in the last minute. So much happened in that game. So much happened in that game between Man City and Arsenal. Probably more than what happened last season between us in the two games and the previous season in the two games. Now, recently, we actually do have a good record against them. Last season, we won and we drew. They didn't score a goal against us last season. We kept 2 clean sheets against them. This season, we were leading 2-1, the whole second half playing with 10 men, so close to beating them, but they equalized, so another draw at the Etihad Stadium. So there was obviously another Community Shield game as well. So if you count that, we've gone 4 games without losing to them. Let's make it 5. And not just not losing, I think we have to win this. We have to win this particular game. And listen, there's a spell where Man City were very, very terrible this season for across 2 months, November, December. They were really bad. Maybe even that stretch started in October. They were really bad. But they're 6 points behind us. If they beat us, they'll only be 3 points behind us. Now, I don't think they're going to win the Premier League title this season. But if they beat us, they can definitely finish second on the table, which would be a disaster for us after Man City losing. It felt like they didn't win for a full year. So for them to go through all that and then they come up and catch us, that would be terrible. That would be absolutely terrible. And it's just a massive game. This is a crucial week. Obviously, we are waiting to see whether we're going to sign a player between now and Monday. The ideal situation would be Bournemouth take points against Liverpool, take points off Liverpool. We beat Man City and then we sign 2 players by Monday. That would be the ideal situation. But it can always go both ways, man. It can always go both ways. It can also be Liverpool beat Bournemouth, Arsenal don't beat Man City, worse, lose to Man City, and then we also don't sign anyone, then that would really feel like, yeah, it's over for the Premier League, and our only hope is, trying to come back in the Carabao Cup, and that could also be done by Wednesday, and then the only hope will be Champions League, which will not be easy. On our path to the final, we might have to beat a Man City or Real Madrid or Bayern. We'd have to maybe come up across a Juventus or an AC Milan. It's not going to be easy to win the Champions League. So we've never done it. So we've never experienced that as Arsenal fans. It's not going to be easy. So the Premier League, 6 points behind Liverpool. Ideally, let them draw points against Bournemouth, and then we beat Man City. We just have to do our job. Last season, between January, February, March, April, we were winning every single game, and we beat Man City last season at home. We'll need to do that again. January was a very tough month for us, let's be honest. It's now, we're now past January, or 31st, but the video will be out on 1st of February. It was a tough January, having to go to Brighton, to Brentford, having to play against Newcastle, and then Man United, and then Aston Villa, all back-to-back, and Tottenham all at home, 4 games in a row, and then 2 Champions League games that we had to, pick up results to make sure we finish in the top 8. It was tough. It was really tough. We had to play extra time against Man United. A red card against Wolves recently as well, playing, like 30 minutes of that game without having 11 men on the pitch. Neri picking up an injury against Brighton, and he was the replacement for SAKA. Jesus picking up that injury. It was a tough January, man. It was a horrible January, but we still managed to stay afloat. We never really lost in the league. We didn't lose in the Champions League. We lost to Man United. We lost to Newcastle, but the Newcastle one is not yet over. If we can turn that around, everyone forgets about that first leg and things will be great. But it's Man City. It's never an easy game. This has been quite some battle the last 2-3 years. I always look forward to this game. 4 or 5 years ago, I would never really looked at this game. Even 3 years ago, I was never really looking forward to this game. Even when you're competing with them for the title, they smashed us 4-1 at their place. It wasn't a good game. But the last 2 seasons, it has been a great watch, Haaland competing up against Gabriel and Saliba. I think all three of them really look forward to that battle every single game. The the fact that we usually have SAKA, now we don't have him on that side competing against Gvardiol. There's usually a lot of battles, but we're not going to see them this time with no SAKA, no Rodri. So there's going to be a few newer battles. We could see a Kovacic up against a Merino in midfield. We could see a Lewis Kelly against a Savinho or Mamouche in that game. There could be some new battles, but either way, it's a game that we have to win. It's simply a game that we have to win, no matter how the Liverpool game goes. If Liverpool win and we don't win this game, it's going to be 8 or 9 points with the game in hand. It's going to be impossible to, and we still have to go to their place. It's going to be impossible. If they lose and then we lose as well, we haven't taken advantage of that again. So we can't do that again. So it simply has to be a win. Simply has to be a win. Now, usually when we play Man City, there was out of those last 5 results, there has been the 2023 season, there was a lot of goals where they beat us 4-1 and 3-1. But if you put that season to the side, there was a 1-0, there was a 0-0, there was a 1-1 in the Community Shield, or both goals in extra time. There's been some really tight affairs. But this season, what we've seen so far, especially recently, Man City are very open. Man City are giving away so many chances. Chelsea could have scored 4 or 5 goals against them. Feyenoord scored 3. They came back against them the last 10 minutes and scored 3 goals. PSG came back and scored 4 goals that second half. We saw them conceding, twice to Brentford in the last 5 minutes. Man City cannot keep a clean sheet. They famous last words, but they have not been able to keep a clean sheet. They concede so many goals. On the other side as well, if you look at Arsenal this season, we haven't really kept as many clean sheets as we did last season or the previous season. Actually, this year, since December, we've been conceding a few goals here and there, twice to Newcastle, conceded to Brighton, although it was a penalty, conceded to Man United, we conceded to, what's the other team? We conceded to Brentford fast as well. We've had to make a few comebacks. Girona scored fast, Brentford scored fast, Tottenham scored fast against us. We had to make comebacks in all of those games. So we haven't really been keeping clean sheets now. Obviously, we've missed Saliba for 1 or 2 of those games. We've not had, Ryan for one of those games. Calafiori has been in and out. Lewis Kelly was given a red card in that month as well. But this time, we could actually field Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, and Timber for the first time in a while all together. I don't know if Lewis Kelly is going to start. I'm going to give you guys my lineup. We have to take advantage. I don't think this is a game we're going to go and win 1-0. Could be if we just defend well and hope that our defense, does the job in this one. I feel like this game is going to have a few goals. I feel like this is going to, City are going to score and you're going to score. And it's going to be all about taking our chances. We are going to get chances. Man City are so open at the back, as we saw. Chelsea, Jackson got 3 chances in that game. There was a lot of space in behind. Whoever the chances fall to, whether it's Martinelli, whether it's Havertz, whether it's Sterling, whether it's Tross, or whether it's Odegaard, whoever, we have to take our chances. Because if Arsenal get 5 chances in that game and Man City get 5 chances in that game, Haaland will probably score 2 of them. So we have to take our chances as well. I think we'll need 2 or 3 goals to win this game. We have to take our chances. And we also have to use our set-piece strength in this game as well. Last time when we played Man City, we were dominating them from those corners, although they also scored a corner against us in the last minute. Gabriel, I think we had a close miss and then right away scored from a corner. We have to take advantage of that as well. Any chance that drops to us, we have to take advantage of in this game. And the kind of boost this game would have for us if we won it, it would be even a more of a boost, because we'll know, okay, we've now beaten Man City. We've now finished all the games against Man City. We are done with Tottenham. We are done with Aston Villa. We are done with Brighton. We don't have those games anymore. Our next game will be Leicester. We'll have a home game against West Ham. Things will look slightly good. We'll have a game against Man United somewhere as well, but Liverpool is all the way in April. Can we put a run together? I think if we win this game, it boosts even more, and very important going towards that Newcastle game in midweek as well. Because, listen, as I say as well, it could go both ways. If you lose this game, you don't buy in the transfer window, the mood would be so low for that Newcastle game at that second leg. But if you beat Man City and you sign someone, the mood would be so high for that Newcastle game away from home. And we'd think we can do the everyone has said it's impossible. Maybe you could do it if we go there. I'm confident, but we have to go there confident. Have to. Another factor is, unfortunately, we don't have enough players. The first team, the players that start the game, have to do the job for us. If Nwaneri starts, maybe you could bring Martinelli or Trossard off the bench. If Lewis Kelly starts, maybe you have the option of Calafiori from the bench. Sterling's on the bench, but we've seen that we cannot really depend on him. Man City, on the other side, they could have a bench where they have Marmoush. They could have a bench with De Bruyne. They could have a bench with Grealish. They could have a bench with Savinho. And that is a bench. And still in the lineup, they could still have Bernardo Silva and players like Haaland. They're very stacked up in terms of options on the bench. We don't have that factor. So in the second half, if it's still tight, Man City could bring in De Bruyne and Marmoush. For us, we don't really have anyone to bring, so that will be a major factor. The team that starts that game will have to have an impact, and whoever we have on the bench, whether it's Martinelli or Trossard or Nwaneri, has to come in and make a huge impact, has to come on and make a huge impact. So that is my thoughts on the game. But what about the lineup? Which lineup would I go for against Manchester City? So there's doubt with Raya. From what you saw with Neto, he was very rusty in that game. He hadn't played for like 7 months. It would not be ideal to throw him in a game against Man City. Not at all. Not at all. I remember Raya made 2 or 3 very good saves at the Etihad Stadium. So this would be my lineup. I'm going to put it on screen right now. So hopefully Raya is fit. He's going to be in goal. If he's not, obviously it's going to be Neto. But my back four, I've gone with Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, and Timber. Now there's obviously the option of playing Lewis Kelly. But I look at it like, I have no problem with Lewis Kelly starting. No problem with Lewis Kelly starting. But Calafiori last time against Man City, like going forward, he was really good and he scored that goal. And can we just have the 4 experienced players there? That is what I'd do. I just have the 4 of them there. And then midfield-wise, the usual. Partey, Rice, and Odegaard, a lot of work to do. Partey is not that great in terms of transition and covering, as we saw Danjuma running in behind him in that game. He does not have the pace. So if De Bruyne still has the pace and catches the ball and runs past him, we're in trouble. So that is where Rice comes and supports him. And then we need a big game from Odegaard. Over the last 10 games, Odegaard has been good in 3 of them, which is not enough. We need him to turn up, especially when Saka is not there. We cannot have, Saka not there and Odegaard not playing well. We usually suffer if you're missing both of them in a game. So Odegaard starts there. We need a big game. In terms of creation, if you get a shot, shoot the ball. If he can score. We just need Odegaard to have a big game. The corner kicks as well from that side needs to be big. If you get a penalty, it's going to be who's going to step up and take it. No one else, because Trossard missed the last one. I know you missed the last one as well, but you're the usual penalty taker if Saka is not there. So, we cannot give to Trossard, we cannot give to Sterling, we cannot give to anyone else. You're the one who's going to step up. So we need a big game from Odegaard. And then up front, I'm going to go Trossard on the left, Havertz up front, and Martinelli on the right side. Now, I also thought about Nwaneri, because Nwaneri is very good against Girona. But I think in terms of defensive work, I still really like Martinelli in this kind of game. And in terms of defensive work, if you watch all the games we've played against Man City over the last 2 years, Martinelli has been really good defensively. He comes back and supports and wins the ball back several times. He's been really good defensively, especially it's the 0-0 last season, if I'm not wrong. He was very good defensively. So would Nwaneri do the same? I don't know. So again, I don't have a problem with one of Nwaneri, Lewis Kelly starting. I trust them. They've been very, very good this season. They've been a breath of fresh air this season. But that would be my lineup for this game. And then on the bench, Nwaneri, Lewis Kelly, players like Sterling, obviously a lot of defenders, Zinchenko, Tierney, Kivio, and the midfield, Merino and Jorginho. So Tierney is going to stay at Arsenal, so he's going to play a role for us. So he's no problem if he comes on. He's not leaving Arsenal now. Now he's part of the team until May. So we can also use him as well when needed in terms of whether you need to, close the game out or you need just some freshen on the left side. We can bring him on. So good news and bad news. Good news is that Michael Oliver is not the referee for this game. Bad news is that the other referees are still friends with Michael Oliver and they all hate Arsenal. So we have to just do our job and hope that the referees don't screw us again. So my prediction for this game, I think there's going to be goals. I think there's going to be a set piece goal. There's probably going to be a penalty in this game. Hopefully we don't get a silly red card again or something like that. You know, these referees are targeting us. They've already charged us. So their revenge tour is on. Arsenal 3, Manchester City 2. So I'm going to go for a 3-2 win. I don't think any of those teams can keep a clean sheet at the moment. They can. I mean, the way we played Man City, we could just lock it out once again, and don't be surprised if this game ends in a 0-0. But I feel like we could score, and then they'll score, and then there'll be maybe a defensive error from one of the teams, and then maybe we'll score a set piece against them, and maybe Mamouche would come in the second half and score as well when they're fresh. I'm going to go for 3-2. So Arsenal 3, Man City 2. Hopefully, don't concede that many goals because it's hard for us to score 3 goals. So we have to also depend on our defense. I think we're going to score. So it's about how many chances we take and how good our defense is on this day. And I think if Raya is missing, we're also in a bit of trouble there. So I've gone for a 3-2 win for Arsenal. Let me know your prediction. Let me know your starting lineup. Would you start Nwaneri ahead of Martinelli? Or would you bench Trossard and have Martinelli on the left side and start Nwaneri? Would you start Calafiori or Lewis Kelly? Let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.